Om Shanti. I had a question in the morning about jealousy. And do you ever feel jealous? Yes. Do you ever feel jealous? Yes, we all do, right? And I was thinking about this thing called jealousy. And sometimes, we don't even realize that it is jealousy because jealousy is where what you feel when when somebody has that which you don't have, and in your opinion you deserve it more than them, but they have it and you don't have it. Okay, there there is this situation where somebody has something which you don't have, and then you think that you deserve it more than them, and then what you feel is jealousy. Okay, and then what you do is you change that feeling into a righteous anger, and you think that you deserve it and they have it and they shouldn't have it. So you are angry about it, and it's right to be angry because it's wrong that they have it and you don't have it when you deserve it more. Yes. Now, there was this question somebody asked, that I'm feeling this strong righteous anger about someone having something which I don't have, and I think I deserve it and they are having it. Then I said, that's jealousy. So they said, no, that's not jealousy, because jealousy is when I'm wrong in thinking like that, but I'm right in thinking like that. So that's not jealousy, that's anger, and I am very rightfully angry, and it's killing me. Like all day and night, I'm just thinking about that thing. So then I tried to think about the situation, and what I understood is Baba is giving us so much knowledge about things we can't see. That's why God is always called the bestower of the third eye. Yes, and what is the third eye about? The third eye is about appreciating and taking cognizance of things that you can't see with these two eyes. And this question of whether someone deserves something or not, this question is a very interesting question, because you are trying to think with limited buddhi and coming to a conclusion whether someone deserves something or not. But then you don't know about the factors, or you're not taking them into calculation, which you can't see with these two eyes. So there are other factors like their punya karma or their previous karmic baggage, or whatever they are on the inside. Maybe on the external, when you see the external aspect, maybe they have not invested a lot of effort or energy into getting what they have. But if you look at the internal state, maybe they are in good consciousness and that's why they are attracting it. Yes, or maybe it's their karmic accumulation over last births or this birth. We don't know all those things. And success is an aspect of all these factors accumulated together. And what are we doing? We are spoiling our consciousness because of that. Yes, and we see a situation and we are thinking negative thoughts, and what is that doing to my energy field? I am going into lower consciousness. And when my energy field is so low, will I attract better things or worse things in future? So we need to understand that the way we are approaching this situation is not accurate. So one thing that Baba has taught us is everything in drama is accurate. So nothing that's happening is wrong. Everything is happening the way it ought to be. So if somebody is getting something, you should know as a spiritual law that they deserve it. Even if you don't know how they deserve it, they still deserve it. That's why they're getting it. And what do you have to do to get that? You have to deserve it. And being jealous will not make you capable of deserving it. So what you do is you try to accept whatever they have, because that's got nothing to do with what you have right now or what you will have in the future. So just let go of that, become very independent of that emotion, that situation, drop that from your thinking, your buddhi, and then start working on your karma and your energy field. Yes, because that's the key to your success. And it's very important, because I've seen many people wasting or, misusing their energy and time and thought creating a low consciousness for themselves by creating these thoughts which are based on anger and jealousy. So this is something that that Baba is teaching us, and the spiritual knowledge should help us to do better in the future. Okay. Now, this is about jealousy. So because somebody asked, so I thought maybe this is a relevant question for many. So I just felt like sharing it. Now, today, Baba is talking about remembering Baba. And Baba in the Murli says, sweet children, surrender yourselves to the Father at this time, and you will become constantly happy for 21 births. Now, in Mama's Murli yesterday also, and we have understood, we have been thinking about this quality of surrender. Now, there is a very funny thing which I want to share, and there was this WhatsApp forward, and in that there was an image of a child who was holding the remote of the TV in his hand, and then there was this quotation there that this being here, he doesn't own the house, he doesn't pay the bills, he doesn't do anything here, no contribution, zero contribution this being has. The TV doesn't belong to him, the remote doesn't belong to him, but dare you take it away from him. So this is the kind of ownership that a child has on the house. And you see, the parent does everything in the house. He's paying the bill, he's paying the rent, he's paying the television bill, he's paying everything. But he doesn't have ownership over the remote. The child has ownership over the remote. Now, this was a very funny illustration of what ownership means and what surrender means. And Mama also explained that we have been surrendering to humans for very long. So a wife surrenders to the husband, a husband surrenders to the wife, parents surrender to children, children surrender to parents, and we know how to surrender, don't we? We know how to surrender. And this surrender is supposed to make us happy. But unfortunately, that's not what it's doing these days. Because these days, statistics say that relationships are the biggest cause of stress. Yes, so we intended to surrender to human beings so that they could make us happy, but interestingly, that's not happening, and we are surrendering and getting a lot of sorrow. And there are many people who keep asking this question: I am giving my 100%. Where is the problem? I don't get it. Why my love is not requited? Yes, so there are people who are asking this question repeatedly. They are crying, wailing, and asking this question: what am I doing wrong in this relationship? Or where is that element missing? I'm giving my absolute 100%, and still there is no love, there is no happiness in this relationship. So, this is the question we are grappling with, and now Baba is teaching us the truth. And what is the truth? The truth is that you are a soul, and your true relationship is with the Supreme Soul, Paramatma, Shiv Baba. And a soul is meant to surrender to God, not to human souls. And there is no problem with the way you are surrendering. There is a problem with who you are surrendering to. So if you surrender to human souls, you will get sorrow in return. And if you surrender to God, you will get happiness, peace, love in return. Do you agree with this? Yes? Yes. Now the question arises, if you surrender to God, what do you do with those souls? Because they are still there, even if you have surrendered to God. So then your relationship with those souls becomes that of seva. And what is seva? Seva is a very beautiful thing. Seva is a relationship where you take from the Supreme and only give. You don't expect. Yes? Neither do you give from your own accumulation. You take from the Supreme, you give to everyone, and you don't expect anything in return. And this is the way you need to have a relationship with everyone around you. Only when you surrender completely to God, then God fills you enough so that you can give to everyone without expecting. Okay, because we all know that Buddha said that expectation is the cause of sorrow. Yes, and we know that the problem is expectation, but we don't know the solution, because how do we not expect when we give? Now, if you give by yourself, then you're bound to expect. But if you surrender to Baba, and then you allow Baba to fill you with everything that you need and everything that the world needs from you, then you will be able to give endlessly without expecting. And this is why Baba says that surrender to me. And when you surrender to me, Baba says, You will be able to settle your accounts with all the souls around you, because an account is settled when you give, and give and not expect. And the second thing is, you will earn the inheritance of 21 births. That is the punya karma that you do now by serving souls on behalf of Baba will give you an inheritance of happiness and peace for 21 births. Now, before we go deeper into this thing, I want to ask you, how many of you recognized God as a part of your life even before undertaking this course? How many of you recognized God as a part of your life even before undertaking this course? Please raise your hand. This question is very important and it matters, so I really want to know. Yes. Okay. So there are some who did and there are others who didn't, right? Now, this thing is something that we need to explore now. We have, if we have not recognized God, because you see, even in bhakti, there was some information to us about God and there was some ritualistic approach maybe, but then that ritualistic approach also gave us some relationship with God, even if that was not accurate or true, but there was a relationship. And if there was not, then you need to understand that a very big part of our life has been missing until now. So the source, the sun has been missing in our life until now. Yes? So you will have to put in a lot of effort to develop this relationship with Baba or God. Because if that effort is not put in and you think there is any other short way or shortcut to fill yourself, it's not going to work. So this is why when the course is given, information about yourself, information about God, and information about your relationship with God is given. Yes, you are informed that you are a soul. You are informed that there is someone called Baba and he's not a something, he's a someone. And then you have a relationship with that someone. He is your parent, your mother, father, teacher, Satguru, friend, guide, everything. But that is just information. Until and unless you experiment with that information, you are not going to get what we know, a knowing. Do you understand? There is something called a knowing. What is a knowing? So if somebody asks you, how do you know that the the mango tastes sweet? Then you say, I know it tastes sweet. So you say, how do you know? So I have experienced it. So there is a knowing that is generated from continuous experience. So even an experience can be a one-time thing, two-time thing. But then there is something called a knowing, which is very deeper, very deeper than the experience. And when you experience something many times, then you use this word, I know this. Yes, if somebody says, this person cheated on me, you say they can't cheat. You say, and then they ask you, how do you know? So I know they can't cheat. So this knowing is a very deep thing. And this knowing doesn't come from information. It comes from years of sustained experience. And this knowing is a very deep thing. Even if you don't have an experience one day, this knowing sustains that faith. Okay, so you have to experiment with the information that's being given to you, and with that experiment you will receive an experience every day or sometimes, and then slowly, gradually, you will know you are a soul and you will know you belong to Baba. Okay, does that make sense? So this is how you have to experiment with this information that you're getting. And whatever Baba says in the Murli, in what we will be understanding every day bit by bit, has to be put to test by you. And you have to take out some time every day to reflect on these new things. You have to reflect on the fact that you are a soul. You have to reflect on the fact that actually all your relationships are with God, Baba. Okay? So when you reflect on this, then slowly, gradually, it will start making sense to you. Yes? In any case, you see, everything starts with information. Yes? So when you're born, you are informed that these are your parents and these are your siblings, and then you have to live with them, and they are the people you can trust, and they are the people who love you unconditionally. This is what is told to you, right? And then you start experimenting with it in situations, in circumstances, in day-to-day interactions. And then sometimes you get the proof that what is said is true, and sometimes you get the proof that what is said was completely false. Yes, and there was this chapter on honesty that I was teaching young kids one time, and I told them you should be honest to your parents. And then there was this one child who raised his hand, and I told him to speak, and he said that, I don't think that's a good idea. So I said, why? He said, because every time I'm honest to my parents, I end up getting beaten up. And then they never understand what I'm going through. So I said, no, maybe you've not tried enough. He said, no, I've been trying for 13 years and it doesn't work. So I don't need to be honest to my parents. I need to hide everything possible from my parents, and that's a good idea. So then I said, okay, but you need somebody you should be honest to, because that's important. So he said, maybe my friend. So I said, maybe your friend doesn't guide you properly every time. So he said, yes, last time I ended up in trouble because I followed what he said. And then we ultimately came to God, who you can be honest with always. So you see that we are told that every relationship around us is meant to be a certain way and provide us with what we need as a soul. And what we need as a soul is peace, love, happiness, bliss, power, purity, complete knowledge, truth. But we keep experimenting with it. And sometimes we feel that, yes, some relationships are giving us what we need. And sometimes we feel that, no, that information was not correct. Yes, now, similarly, now that you are born in the spiritual life, this is rebirth, yes? Now again you're born, again you're being told that you have all your relationships with Baba. And He will give you, the soul, everything you need. He will tell you all the truth you need to know. He will give you the purity, the peace, the love, happiness, bliss, power that the soul needs. But you have to turn your attention to Him. Just like you run to people, You run to institution, you run to the bank, you run to the hospital. Every time you feel that you need love, you need peace, you need some information, you need some knowledge, where do you turn? You turn your attention to Baba. And Baba is not a physical entity, so approaching him is not a physical thing. What you need to do is unplug from everything that's going on around you and just turn your attention to that ocean of peace, who is in stillness, in silence, and in great strength and in state of bliss. And when you turn your attention to Baba, you will experience every time you turn that he is giving you what you need. And then this relationship gets stronger and stronger every day. And when you are sourcing everything from him, then you will stop having expectations from people around you. And because Baba is so sweet, you will also start becoming very sweet in his company. And when you become sweet, other people will flock to you. But you will not be dependent on anybody. You will love to share what you've got from Baba, but you will not be in a state where you expect from others. Yes, so this is the effort you will have to make. And how do you make this effort? So Baba in the Murli today says that the best time to do this thing is early in the morning. So I will read out what Baba says first, and then we will understand that. So Baba says, listen carefully. It may scare you a little, but then it's very interesting. Baba says, just as you give 8 hours to your government service, similarly, stay in remembrance for 8 hours at least. Yes, because if you think that that the government should provide for you in this lifetime, you give 8 hours to the government. So if you want Baba to provide for you for this lifetime and the future, at least give 8 hours to Baba. Okay, now is this fair? Yes, it is fair, because 8 hours commitment you can give only then. See, if you don't give 8 hours of commitment to your job, they don't give you a salary, right? So you have to give some commitment of time, otherwise how will Baba take care of you? Now Baba says, it is such great service to make the world into heaven. Now what do we do in these 8 hours? We keep our state of being such that the world is becoming heaven. Now you must understand that you are a brick in this wall called the world. And it is said that any wall is only as strong as its weakest brick. Right? So you matter. You're very important. Your state of being has an influence on the state of the world. And Baba says, 8 hours of consciously staying in a state of peace, purity, and bliss is going to make this world heaven. Now there has to be a minimum force which we require to change this collective consciousness. Now that minimum force will be generated when each of us at least consciously stays in a state of peace, purity, bliss for 8 hours a day. And Baba says, do this service to make this world heaven. Simply remember the Father and the land of happiness. So turn your attention towards Baba and turn your attention to that world who is coming, that world of peace and happiness, golden age. and just sit in the remembrance of those worlds. Now, if you sit in the remembrance of whatever is going on in and around you, then you will not be able to stay in peace. So what you do is, you take out time out of 24 hours, at least take out 8 hours when you turn your attention towards Baba, who is the ocean of peace and love and happiness, and turn your attention to the golden age, which is full of happiness. And when you think about them, you will be radiating that energy of happiness into this world. Baba says, that's all. I'm not asking for too much. If you do service for 8 hours, you claim the full inheritance. Baba says, 8 hours per day you give me, and I give you 21 births of peace and happiness. Okay? By staying in remembrance in this way, your sins will be absolved. All the sins. And what are the sins that we have? All the sins that we have committed in this journey have become our sanskars now. So when Baba says that if you do this service for 8 hours, then I will absolve you of your sins, what it means is your sanskars of being unhappy and peaceless will change. And come what may, you will not feel any sorrow or pain anymore. Circumstances will be the same, but your sanskars will be so different that the experience of life will be different for you. And Baba says, by staying, give 8 hours to this service and then you are free for the other 16 hours. As much as possible, remember Baba again and again. You can remember Baba while sitting anywhere. The best time for you have is in the morning. Okay? There is a saying in Sindhi, early to bed, early to rise. Those who do this are very virtuous. This praise is of this time. Baba says at this time what you do is you adopt this method of sleeping early and waking up early. Now what is early? Early sleeping means sleeping at 10. And early waking up means waking up at 2 a.m. Baba says today in the Murli. Okay, let's listen to what Baba says. Baba says, the father says, go to sleep early at night and then wake up early. Those who don't have knowledge, sleep for 8 hours. Whereas you should have only half that time for sleep. 4 to 5 hours of sleep is enough. Who is talking? The biggest doctor, Baidyanath. Yes, you ask the doctor how many hours of sleep is enough. So, the supreme surgeon, Baidyanath himself is telling you that those who don't have knowledge may need to sleep for 8 hours, but for you children who have knowledge, your 4 to 5 hours of sleep is enough. But listen to what Baba is saying. You are karma yogis. So why does Baba say that for you children with knowledge, 4 to 5 hours of sleep is enough? Because children with knowledge are karma yogis. So in the world, people are only doing karma. And while they are doing karma, they are getting very bitter, angry, frustrated. They are taking sorrow, giving sorrow. Correct? Yes? Anybody is cleaning the floor. They are very interested in those people who are sitting and not doing that. So they are getting bitter about it, and then they are cleaning the floor. But Baba says, when we children do work all day, see, a yogi is not someone who doesn't work. Let's get this right. Until now, we thought, what's the difference between a yogi and a sansari? So we thought that a sansari works, a yogi doesn't work. But Baba says, no, the difference is not work. The difference is the consciousness with which you work. So a sansari also works, a yogi also works. We are all yogis, you are all yogis sitting here. Now you are learning from the Yogeshwar, so you're yogis. Now, we are all yogis, we work, but we don't work with the consciousness with which ordinary people work. We work with surrender, we work in a state of acceptance, we work in a state of gratitude, we work in a state of remembrance of Baba. And when we are in remembrance of Baba, we are very sweet, peaceful, happy, calm, and that is how we work. And if you work in this kind of a state, then you will not get exhausted. And if you're not exhausted, 4 to 5 hours of sleep is enough for the body. Yes, so this is why Baba says you sleep at 10 and wake up at 4, because you are Karam yogis. Now Baba says, go to sleep at 10 p.m. and wake up at 2 a.m. By remembering Shiv Baba, you earn a lot of income. So Baba says, when you wake up at 2 a.m., then you sit in Baba's remembrance. How do you sit in remembrance? See, can you sit with the person you love for 2 hours without talking to them? How many of you can do that? 2 hours you are just sitting with the person without even a conversation. How many of you can do that? Yes, you can do that. Now, if you have love for Baba, you just sit with Baba in his company. And here you can talk also. So, in order to sit with Baba, what you need is love for Baba. When you're sitting in solitude, just invoke Baba in front of you and feel the presence of his love, his peace, his purity all around you. And just sit in that company for 1 hour, 2 hours, 15 minutes, whatever you can, depending on the kind of relationship you have right now. Yes? So Baba says, by remembering Shiv Baba, you earn a lot of income, and this will fill you up with what the soul needs. You will receive both health and wealth. Now, Baba gives you a relaxation. Yes, because everybody got very disturbed hearing that 2 a.m. thing. So Baba says, okay, if not at 2 a.m., wake up at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. So Baba has relaxed it. It is a first class time, and there is a silence. There is silence at that time. Everyone is in bodiless stage. So why 4 a.m.? Because most of the people in the world are sleeping at that time. So all souls are in bodiless stage. So that's why there is minimum traffic of thoughts around you. And this is why when there is less traffic, your journey to Baba will become very fast. Okay? Om Shanti. Can we be Satyugi state for 8 hours while doing other work? Yes, we can be in Satyugi state for 8 hours while doing other work. It's not like you have to sit and meditate for 8 hours. That's not what's being said. Part of it can be sitting yoga, because without sitting yoga, you will not be able to maintain that tempo while working. Yes. So you have to lay the foundation in the morning, and then while working also, you can be in yoga. That will also be counted in those 8 hours. All right. Om Shanti.